Inshallah and Ashe. I love the ending there. It's just like my own private countdown, preparing myself. But either way, welcome to a fantastic Friday where I go live. Generally, I do cowrie shell divinations. It's an art of divination brought to the West by Elder Malidoma Somé, which I am a protege. I'm a student of his. And I was basically, how I met him was all through spirit, all through vision. So for those of you that have visions and the subtle field, just know they are very real. And of course, they nudge at us until we literally are on our pathway. So with that, I wanted to share a little insight today. A lot of you have asked about how to work with me and some messages. So I'm going to do a few things. There was a reason I'm here. So number one, again, welcome to a fantastic Friday. We're going to switch that out. And I believe I want this. So energetically, I always work, not always, I should say, but I do work with the 4 pillars of destiny. It's a Chinese astrology. I look at your 4 pillars to understand your elemental foundation. And believe it or not, through my experience, these tell a story energetically of what element you may need or not need in both the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and literally a lot more. I do work with a 12, 13 kind of elemental gifting process. That's what Gift and Purpose was all about. Sometimes I feel like people are always conditioned to ground into the earth plane, but sometimes we can ground into a star. We can ground into a being from another planet, Mars. It doesn't really matter energetically, but also it's called our Vivaxis, Judy Jacka. That's where the Vivaxis actually comes from. So energetically, sometimes when we become sick or something, it's because the land we were born on is becoming sick as well, and we're a part of that. So energy never lies. It just transforms and tells a different story. So part of the reason I use the 4 pillars is for that and a lot more. This particular day was from my Monday show. You can follow on YouTube. And having a yang metal energy of the day, that's unrefined energies, but also very kind of spiritually aligned along with the rooster. So it's a very Western kind of direction kind of a day as far as the environment in feng shui, which I do bring that in sometimes if energetically I'm not seeing the results I want when I physically see somebody, because the body gives off an energetic field called our aura generally. But also these all play a very vital role in our energy being and in our essence. So I do look at this, but I do also look at astrology. I was going to bring up the astrology for today, but things weren't looking so fantastic on the screen, so I opted out of that. But just knowing that we are in Libra season, or the season of Libra in the cycle of this particular year, Libra is all about balancing our harmonics, usually people pleasers, but it's also the invitation. I worked with Christopher Renstrom and Christopher Witecki. It's kind of funny. And my horse, my Wedame horse, when I was young, was named Christopher as well. So names play a vital role in all of this. However, the reason I bring that up is Libra season is kind of a people-pleasing energy, but it's also the invitation. Libra energy basically invites. It's the invitation, but it's also the ability to say no to that invitation. Aesthetically pleasing, stylish is kind of what I want to say. It's I find literally most estheticians are Libra people. They literally have Libra predominantly accentuated in their chart. So it's like aesthetically pleasing, whether it's the home, could be feng shui. Now that I say that out loud, could be feng shui of your house. So yeah, Libra, pleasing in the office space, people that decorate. So those are just some similarities for Libra energies, also voicing in a balanced, energetic way. That would be like if Libra's in the third house. Aesthetically pleasing and inviting in the home front. That would be your home and your family. So wherever Libra is in your chart, I talk about this in my sacred spirit circle. That's really why I do those meditations. It's kind of accentuate these energies as we move through the cycles and the seasons of the year, but also the elementals, because we have entered, curiously enough, it's called period 9 in Chinese astrology, which is a fire elemental. And I really feel like myself, that's part of my energy is fire. I guess I should post my chart someday, but just to give you an idea. But fire is all about literally igniting the fire, the sparks within, whether it's negative or positive. Fire is kind of that kind of an energy. So if you're not feeling real passionate about what you're doing at the moment, you can actually channel in, is what I want to say, or maybe infuse fire into your body or work on those fire acupuncture points. Fire elementally on fire sometimes can like infuse and transform things magically how you may not have seen them or a different perspective energetically. So working with the elements is something I do mostly in ritual. If you've ever had a divination, I always prescribe a ritual for the forces of adversity because there's something lacking in your chart. I'm just using fire as an example, to be honest, right now. But we are in a fire season, or a year for 20 years, actually. Fire for 20 years. So fire is literally fire. Fire is everything. Like fire is the sun, it's Mars, it's Jupiter. So this energy and this momentum is going to be lasting us for 20 years. And what we do with it, hopefully it's heartfelt love, peace, joy, and integrity, happiness, like within ourselves first, so we can really radiate and shine our brilliance out into the world. A lot of people, I always see, like, if we could turn a glimmer or a trigger into a glimmer, most people hang on to their triggers. I always like to see the ghost in the darkness, the magic in the mishap or the failure or whatever you want to call it. That usually like takes the wind out of our sails. But I always feel like the universe is always working in our favor. And the reason those sails, the wind mishaps, is so we can see a different perspective to get us on the right trajectory or path or whatever tonality you really want to call it. So I do work with the 4 pillars, but I also work with astrology and your own natural. Yeah, you are a Libra. So your sun is being activated right now. Like literally the sun is shining you, and you're supposed to radiate the you that you are in the area where Aries is, the earth plane. So this is like you really embodying your Aries energy of like who you are and bringing that Libra sun shining the world around you so the world sees who you are authentically. Aries is an action energy of who we are that shines our brilliance for all the world to see, and it shines for all of us. We all have this. It's just how it plays out, and that's what makes us unique and individual. Like, how boring would the world be if we were all doing the same thing, simmering in the pot, being sheep all the time? So being innovative is very triggering to some people because some people are so comfortable doing the same thing for decades, centuries. So change and transition is very hard. And a young wood year, this is all about innovation. It's change. And the dragon, this is even more otherworldly. It's mystical change. It's change that's probably not of this dimension, and we haven't even seen it before. That's just my little opinion. We all have opinions, and take it or leave it. It's fine. Not going to hurt my feelings. These are just things that come for me a lot. Sometimes when I'm doing, I get insights. Everything for me is through dreams and visions, and trust me, you start working with me, you'll be in my dream space. Because spirit will be like, hey, they want to know this, blah, 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 that. It's just what happens for me, and that's my gift to the world. That's what I do. and that's really how I function. So I am going to change this up a bit just because I want to show you my website. If you have never been to my website, I've had a lot of people message me, particularly on Facebook, privately messaging me, because you want to know how this all works to sign in. So I've got to change things. So this is my fun little website. And yes, my hair looks a little different. I got a little New York shirt on, but here we are. So basically, if you want to learn anything about me, you can learn more. Pretty simple, self-explanatory. 100% my goal is to assist you into igniting your passions. My theme is changing lives, igniting passions on the information highway, which is the subtle field, so you can awaken your spirit and live your gift and be your purpose and just radiate your brilliance, your light for all the world to see, which we all shed light. We're all stars on a spiritual walk of fame. Gift and purpose is kind of a foundation into that. If you really dive in and literally take notes about yourself and tune into that, you'll kind of see areas where you're like, oh my goddess, I do that. We do it organically. We don't need me to show you what you're doing organically. You already know, but you may have an insight or an awareness about how this works and whatnot. I do have a podcast. I kind of am lame this year, I'm not going to lie. I usually do a theme every year, and this year's theme was all about communication, connection. So I think I just dove in to go live. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. So my podcast, I do have amazing information there if you really want to dive into the elementals and the natures of the season. My first podcast year was all about literally the seasons through time and space and changing our food with those, amongst other things, but that is totally amazing. And when I talk about my Change Your Stars quiz, I wonder if you can see that. Oh, maybe you can't. Okay, well, either way, it doesn't matter. My Change Your Stars quiz, this is like you really diving deep. It's free for God, universe sake. You know, we all have intuitive gifts and psychic abilities and subtle fields and auras and all the things. So this was created for that. You'll literally see my hair transformation, but I love changing my hair. It's just hair, for God's sake. My meditation circles, those are on YouTube. Again, we're in the season of Libra. Different ways to work with me. Of course, one-on-one is always fun. Group coaching is super fun. That's kind of why I go live. The reason being is you may find that somebody else is in the same paradigm or area that you're in, and you can really work off each other and be like, oh, that resonates with me. I do have online lessons, of course, as always, and of course, live events like we all do. These are just some featured podcasts. But here is, if you want to take my Change Your Stars quiz, basically you scroll to the bottom of the page and it's sitting right there. Super fun. You get to answer some questions. I guess I could click on it, but I don't want to. I'll let you do that if that resonates with you. But my one-on-one sessions, I predominantly, of course, you've seen me do cowrie shell divinations. So those are one of my one-on-one sessions. Contonally voice diviner, I literally channel beings from other dimensions, I'll say, that channel through me to give you a message. Quantum surgery is just that. I literally move things in the quantum field for people. And if you haven't experienced that, you may think that that is total fuckery, but it is real. Reflector guidance. I am a reflector in human design. I do have, maybe it didn't like me there. Oh, there we go. I do have a assessment I'd like you to fill out. This is just a lot about me. If it interests you, blah, blah, blah. I am not for you if you do not want to go down your own rabbit hole, because I will reflect that to you. I generally trigger people, and usually 6 months later, that's when they have their awakening, because you got to work through your shift, right? So yeah, there's an agreement. Like, you really need to read this and be like, okay, this is aligned with my heart. And then I have a questionnaire. So those are different ways, you can work with me about that. So that's why I brought that up. But ultimately, like, how do we amplify the world we live in if we don't amplify ourselves? So that's kind of where that comes from. And really tapping into your own inner potential, like why you arrived on in the world at this time. We all have a gift and we all have a purpose. We're all atoms and electrons and all the things floating through time and space to deliver what we came for. And sometimes we're environments. I'm a reflector. I'm very aware of environments and what's happening, but I also know how to, like, as a reflector, no shift. It's like Teflon. It just slides off me. It's like poof. And I always know when I'm not in my reflector guidance system, literally, shit will stick. And then I go through my own ritual process to get that off my frequency, energy, vibration. So again, if you're not willing to go down the rabbit hole and see sides of you that you may not see, then no, I am not I am not the girl for you, or the guy, or whatever I am in that moment. But either way, I just brought that up because yes, we are in the season of Libra. I'll leave that there for a second. But as we go through time and space, and a lot of people don't recognize this, there's seasons of the year, the elements of the year. That's why I work with the 4 pillars, because that is like your foundational elemental energy. And your body gives us telltale signs all the time. In my 4 pillars chart, again, I wish I would have showed that, but I have 0 water in my chart. Water is all about being in the flow, in peace. If you disrupt my inner peace, you really don't want to be around me. You can ask some of the people that have lived with me, because I hold the tone very well. But once you like hit the trigger there, like mess with my integrity and you have none, like I am a force that you do not want to be around. I won't mention names. You know who you are, and that's that. So water is also communication. It's our intuitive gifts. It's our insight. So whether I'm looking at 4 pillars of Chinese astrology and destiny, whether I'm looking at astrology, or whether I'm looking at human design, energetically, my gift and purpose is literally the other world. It is being of service through spirit and channeling that energy to help humanity. That's why I go to the other world, not so much for myself, but to help humans recognize the own magic that resides within them. Like we get in our own magical way. It's very dissatisfying. But either way, enough of my little rant today. But if you're interested in a one-on-one, those are my opportunities. That's why I call them. I have opportunities to meet you where you're at in the moment. And again, my mantra, this was all downloaded from Spirit, is changing lives, igniting passions on the information highway while awakening the spirit, which we all have. We're in these bodies, right? We've got a spirit, and to radiate that glow. So you glimmer. Holy, totally. That's what that's about. So I'm so grateful that you've joined me live today. And again, we'll be doing Crowley shell divinations. I'm going to change my little screen here. You're going to get me dually time. So you know the drill. If you want me to move the shells on your behalf, all you have to do is answer a question. And I'll move the shells. I always like to play with the Fae. They're from the other world. My candomblé is literally from, I want to say the 36th astronaut, or there's some kind of funny thing that always sticks in my mind. But the candomblé are the little beings from the other world that brought cowrie shell divination to the Dagara tribe in Burkina Faso. Maladoma himself told me basically I'm a living candomblé, which is all about peace, love, joy, happiness, laughter, having some fun. So that's my grimoire. Like, wow, look for the fun in the sun, basically. And I love this horse behind me. I just noticed he's like staring right in the field. So if you want me to move the shells on your behalf, all you have to do is state I really just need your birth year. I like the month again. It goes back to the 4 pillars because there's energies there. And I kind of channel into that. That just happens for me organically. And again, like my whole life has all been about energy medicine and energy healing and forces that some people can't see. I'm just highly tuned to that. I was blessed by death when I was a child. I don't know if that's why I always see these things, but That's just kind of my thing. So it's always helped me. And as far as manifestation, because a lot of people are all about manifesting, like how do we manifest? You want a birthday reading, Tom? I know you do. I can sense it in my field. But manifesting, we all manifest differently. And that's what makes us all unique. So I manifest basically by opening up my heart to balance harmonies in the world and bringing peace where maybe somebody doesn't see peace. That's one of the places I manifest, but I also manifest by believing in my heart and my soul and bringing that energy to the world. So there is that. So, you little birthday boy. Okay. I should say birthday man. I apologize for that. But either way, the sun is shining upon you. You're in the year of water, which is peace. You should know that because you did buy gift and purpose. I hope you're learning about yourself. So, for you, it's all about being in the flow. So, where can you place your peace in flow? Is your peace in flow, which is kind of very Libra like and very water like elementally, just saying that out loud, thinking through it. And October is the total Western direction. So you definitely are a person who is helpful to others, but I want you to work on being helpful to yourself first. And by doing that, putting your left hand on your heart and literally feeling into your heart space and saying, is this helpful to me first? Like, put you first. It's the oxygen mask on your first. What is your peace? Well, peace to all of us is different. Anybody that, like, peace, my inner peace, how would I say that? Like, I'm calm in my space. Like, that is my inner peace. I'm at peace when I'm around people in my environment. Peace. If there's disruption in my peace, like you feel your feathers getting ruffled or your angel wings, we all have them, then you're not in your peace. Anything like, even like when people don't invite us to things, like that might hurt our feelings. However, the universe may not want us invited to certain places because that will disrupt our peace. I've literally been at places less than 15 minutes and I'm like, nope, something shifty is going to happen here. I got to go. I've left. And of course, later I hear about the shifty thing that happened after I left. That's a fact. You're a splenic manifester. Anger. Oh, so you need to embrace your anger. So that's also liver energy, by the way. You didn't know that. So liver energy literally is like being in charge, like addressing your anger. Like, why do you feel angry? But it's also part of Mars energy. It's spring energy, Pluto spirit. Maybe you're pissed off at spirit. Trust me, I've been mad at fucking Source Universe for a long time, especially after I came back after my coma and all the bullshit landing in this dimension. Took me a long time to really climb back in my skin. However, address your anger, like speak to it so it can like speak back to you. And speaking to it will also heal it. I want you to feel it. But back to the Mars situation, being that it's anger, that is aggressive stuff. So working out, lifting weights, punching a bag, like all those things releases anger. That's in the physical world. And sometimes we just don't recognize that exercise isn't just about exercising. It's about moving energy, whether we do it through yoga, meditation, swimming. It doesn't really matter, but it's the action that instigates the movement of, in this case, anger. That's just one of them. But I will move the shells for you because it's your birthday month. And Elizabeth, I will look into you as well. So first off, I'm going to pull a card because it's your birthday. And this is, oh my goddess. This is all about you having, oh my gosh. So there's the green man and then there's the green woman. So this tells me you need to get in touch with your feminine side, whatever that is. You're stuck in a situation with horrible amounts of anger. We're going to have a little private session. I want to look at your chart. Horrible anger. You're stuck in a situation. I would definitely literally just sit in water, as if water's like I would go to a moving river that is fast, but not so fast that you can't sit in it, and just like sit in that water until you feel as if like it's all flushed out of you. Like there's a force of energy of the water, like flushing it out of your system, releasing it and letting go. Plus, we've got like literally, there's a new eclipsed moon coming out, like, which is your new moon eclipse. Like, seriously, um, that'll be a flushing field for you. But the green woman goes with the green man. So, this also tells me your feminine side, like innovate, divine energy, feminine energy to transform your anger, which is also the same element we're talking about. It's all wood, it's all nature. So there's got to be something in your 4 pillars chart that you actually need or you have excessive of, which can happen even though you're born in a Libra season, which is the fall, which is more metal energetically. And metal and wood kind of clash. So there's something there that's triggering you, but we can turn our triggers into glimmers. So that's kind of how that manifests. But the green woman, this is your feminine, innovative transformation side. So I would kind of bring in that energy. Like for myself, I'm very yang energy. So it's this masculine stuff. So I have to bring in the feminine, like be feminine sometimes, which I'm kind of feeling a little old guard. I'm not going to lie. I love that show. Put on my leather and pull out the knives. I don't know. But anyway, let's call in your spirit team. So I'm going to affirm Tom for his magical birthday year. Affirm the beings in the seen and the unseen, the great spirit, the oneness. That I can be a conduit to deliver the message you need to receive today. And with that, I say Ashe, blessings. And you're a male, so we're going to go this way. So, where do I belong in this world? You've always been too feminine. Well, there's something in there that you need to highlight within your. Well, that's part of Libra too. Libra is a very feminine sign. 100% masculine. Yeah, but that's not your Libra energy. That's not what you do. So addressing the masculine, this is like innovating the feminine. That's what that card's about, honestly. But like, how do you talk to yourself? That tells me that inside voice. You're kind of, you need a different conversation in your head. You need to set boundaries around that conversation. Being that this is your birthday year and your connection to spirit, by the way. This is like your birthday. I would literally write affirmations, mantras, whatever you want to call it, invoking how you want the next 12 months of your life to be. I would write them every day. I would take 12 days. I would write 12 different mantras, really resonate with your heart. And every day for 12 days, I'd burn a mantra. And on the 13th or the 12th day, that mantra I want you to hold on to, and I want you to emanate that every day. I want you to read it every day, every single day, every hour, all day long, so you can become that energy for the next year. Does that make sense? I think you've got time. You lost your twins. Oh, so you, okay, well, that's a whole nother magnitude of energies there. So that is probably why you're connecting with that. That's like I don't want to call it a soul contract, but your sister is with you, of course. And the moon, this is Aponya's wild daughter. This is part of the moon, and just being mindful of where you belong, thinking, but really do what I said with your affirmations for your birthday. Anyone could do that, by the way. Write down, I would really write down 13. 12 is great. Burn them all. The 13th one is the one you should go with. So with that, now I got to scroll up here because I'm not seeing my girl Elizabeth, and she wrote me a cute story here. You're like me, darling. Well, you're like me, but you're not like me. You're like my opposing energy. You're involved in a complex relationship with somebody you feel is part of your path and your purpose. But we have been apart for over a year. We love each other very much, but have complex separate lives. I wonder if there will be a time when we'll be able to come back together. How I feel about this man makes it hard sometimes to be in the present moment, but I keep trying. I just send 100%. So for you, my dear, I literally would call in your spirit team, your gatekeepers, and ask source energy to be your prime directive in the situation. I literally have a card on my fridge. I wish I had it in front of me. I could read it verbatim, but it's like, oh, it literally says this. Thank you. It says, good morning. This is God. I will be handling all your problems today, so go ahead and enjoy your day. So when you have days like that, I would just be like, okay, universe, here's all my issues. Take them. I'm going to go enjoy my day. It's kind of like that kind of an energy, because that's a subtle field, and what you put in the field of frequency is what we law of attract. So this is your issues. You just write them down, literally invoke them, envision them, give them to the universe. I just noticed my phone says 333. Look at that. How magical is that? That is beautiful. So if you're not tuned in still, Elizabeth, that is literally what I would do. Spirit is our grimoire. It's our go-to energy. It's the other world, whether it's dreams, visions, our ancestors. It's basically the fairies, for crying out loud. I have total fairy conversations, and there's different kinds of fairies, by the way. Trolls, that's a form of a fairy, just comes in a physical form thing. But either way. So your question is, you've been apart for a year, and where's this going to go? Well, your birthday is coming up very soon as well. So I would ask you to sit and simmer with that. Like, what is it? Like, why is this person in my field? But let's do that for a second. So I'm going to affirm the magical being, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you as well, Tom, not being shy. I affirm your gatekeepers, your guides, the being seen and unseen, that of course I'll be a conduit to deliver the message you need to receive today. Oh, and of that I say ashe. This is like a spiritual intervention for you. There's a lot of healing that's going to happen on the side of it. You're like, you haven't surrendered, but you're like trying to get into the flow of the change that's happening for you, and like, where do I belong in this relationship? Literally, we got to open the door. So when somebody comes in for a question like that, I'm literally looking for the person, which you're a fire person. So where you belong in the world is actually like on the tip of your tongue is what it feels like. It's like, do I want to speak about it? Do I want to invoke it or not? But there's also a specific item, I'll say, in my shells that I always look for when it comes to relationships. But you literally are going through like a radical transformation of like your own inner peace. Again, we're in the season of Libra, which is peace. Are you people pleasing? The only person we need to please first is ourselves. Number one, before we please people outside of ourselves. So there is that. There's a change that's happening for you. I always say things happen for us, not to us. Even things that are shifty. Sometimes there are other people's shifts. And we just happen to be the being that shows up to show them the shift. Happens all the time, except we've never been taught to look at the world that way. So that happens for us. But there's a specific item I'm looking for. It's not shining me in the face. I really don't like diving and looking in for it. So if it's not showing up specifically, there's something hidden here that I'm not seeing. Hang on, I got to scroll here so I can read my comments. Absolutely feel that 100%. So again, if you want like a more personal one-on-one, this is your invitation. I've got a code on there, for crying out loud. But yeah, I like to look at your elements energetically, I'm going to call it, I don't know, your celestial soul chart. I don't know. Sometimes things just start happening for me and I already get the wizard trick before it happens. But it's almost like you literally are blocking your own source connection. It's like a spiritual intervention that's happening for you. That's kind of what I see. So I want you to dive in a little deeper, have a different perspective on this person, and make sure they're not just they're devoted to what your heart wants, but I want you to be devoted to what your heart wants. Like, really script it out. It's in the land of scripting. Script it out. Like, what does it feel like? What does it taste like to be with this person and all their issues and all the things? Because relationships can be tricky, right? Changes our environment. New careers changes our environment, changes our behavior, changes our skill set, changes how we identify with ourselves. We lose our identity sometimes when we're not just in relationships, but careers and all the things, unless we are being authentic to what our heart wants. But again, I'm not seeing the tonality of what I want to see. I don't really want to dig. So I'm sure it's there somewhere, but it's like it's hidden under the surface. But that's what I would do first. This is a spiritual intervention to have you heal an aspect of yourself, be more devoted to who you are. Like it's almost like literally the mountain is blocking the sun. That's how I see that. The mountain is blocking the sun, so you're not being able to devote to what your heart wants first over this person. So I would really sit with that. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, you absolutely feel that. So let's pull a card and just ask the Fae. I'm going to grab my other cards too. I have another set of cards that are not normal because nothing about me is normal or traditional. I kind of like that. I'm not lying. Oh, this is like being afraid of the thing that goes bump in the dark. So be mindful of your thoughts and listen to your intuition. These are like being tested, which goes back to that, the test. It's a spiritual intervention for sure. Definitely. I do want to move my shells and look for that damn ring. I can feel you talking about it. Your friend circle, though, is changing too. I think you're going to find more friends that are more mentorship-like, that speak your language maybe. Maybe they've got more wisdom, stuff like that. But it's all coming together. But yeah, I think you're also going through a process of innovating where you belong in the world, like what feels like home to you. I think we're all kind of going through that. What am I saying? Oh my goddess, I've been on for almost an hour. See my vibration, how it changes? This is you honoring your own personal medicine on the wheel of life. So knowing your gift and your and your purpose. That's the place you feel you are, 100%. Sometimes somebody else has to look into our scheme of things and give us something that's necessary. So again, thanks for tuning in. This is a longer show for me. I appreciate you always. But yeah, I showed you my website. If you have questions, go ahead and check that out. That's kind of who I am. That's why I arrived on the planet at this particular time for myself. I won't say I'm a chosen one, but I really feel like I'm a chosen one. In a different perspective, because that's kind of spiritual egos versus spiritual hearts are different flavors as well. But with that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'll see you next Friday, and hopefully we'll get other people joining us for the live show. Ashe, blessings.